So guys, the last thing we need to do is to assemble our control parts. So in this we have a controller support, okay? So like a games console controller, PlayStation controller. There are joysticks that mount on that, okay? And these joysticks can move in the X and Y direction, and that's what we're going to use to control the 4 motors. So this one can control 2 motors, X and Y, and again, X will control 1 motor and Y will control another. So control the 4 servo motors with those. These are your cables to connect your joysticks in. And then you have a bag with washers and nuts and bolts in there. Okay, so these are all M3 nuts and bolts. You should have 8 bolts, 8 nuts and 8 washers. Okay, so it doesn't really matter what way you do these, but I'm going to feed the screws down from the console side or from the joystick side. Okay, and you can line up your plastic spacers or washers with the holes on the thing. Do these one at a time if you want to, just being lazy. So you can hold them in place and just put on your these. I probably should have put washers with these, but just to let them. Okay, so they're not in your kit, so don't worry about them. So we're just putting screws onto these. If you are missing any of these, it doesn't matter too much. Okay, so 2 or 3 of these will be more than enough to hold them. So it's just to hold them in place when you're using them. So even if for some reason you don't have a full set, or if you lose one when you open them, 3 will hold them in place, even 2. So the way I mount these with the pins pointed out from me. Okay? Doesn't really matter, but it'll be the easiest way for connecting the wires. So I'm going to just do one at a time with this one. Okay, so hoping you guys can see that. I guess the clear plastic isn't ideal for the video. So if you are doing it one by one like I just did, don't over tighten it. It's because you still need to get the spacers in for the next one, so I probably tightened that one a little bit too much. And that hand tight is fine with these. There's no pressure on them, they're only holding the joysticks in place. Okay, so just check that they're not moving around too much and then they're plenty tight. Just tighten them enough as well so that the nuts aren't going to fall off. A few minor tools. Okay, so they're held reasonably well now. So the last thing then you have is the cables. Okay, so the end of mine are both white. Okay, but some of you will have a black fitting and a white fitting. And if you have the black fitting, you use the black fitting to go to these joysticks and the white fitting for the other end. But if they're both white, then it doesn't matter. Okay, so you should see on these that you have 5 cables, right, and 5 pins. But on this cable, 1 wire is red. Okay, and that just allows us to line this up, you know, so that we don't turn it one way here and then another way down at the board. So we're going to put the red wire at the SW pin, right, the switch pin. So you can see they're wrote, you won't be able to see them on the camera, but in there on those pins there's little labels, right? So in this case it's the one on the left of the joystick. So this is the leftmost pin as you look in from the back, kind of. So that's where the red should go. Okay, and you can push those into place. And again, if you have a cable with a black end, it's the black end that you should put in here. So my red cable, and again I'm putting it on lined up with the switch. Okay, the one that says SW. Okay. So the last little step for this then is just to connect in our board, and Tommy is going to do these with you in another video, but as it's part of this as well, I'll quickly go through it. So you can open, okay, so this is your development board, your Arduino board. They're in boxes, right? So you just open them in a box. Okay. So they're the ones that came in your kit, an orange one. These come in lots of different brands, but they're all designed exactly the same. Okay, so you can use these are interchangeable. And this is a printed circuit board that we got made up for these. Okay, so these sit down over the board. Okay, so this saves us having to wire up all of the switches and everything, and you know, hook up power source to them and put them into this. Okay, so we can just connect this straight in, right? Just line up the pins correctly and just gently push it into place. Right? You don't have to push them fully in. Okay, we're just trying. Okay, I think that's about right. Okay, and now we need to connect our switches into this end. Okay, and these 2 white plastic connectors here are where we're connecting. Okay, so we want to obviously go the left one to this side, okay, and the right side of the joystick goes to this side here. Right, that won't matter too much, you can swap them anyway. Okay, so now you have to line the red up with the SW switch on this one. Okay, so the white plastic is actually covering the SW. You can just about see the W. So a good indicator is to look in at the end where the USB and power plugs are. Okay, and when you look down with those here, your SW will be on the left. Okay, so the red goes to the left. Okay, there's also, I suppose, there's 2 little notches on this white plastic here. Right, so you'll see that there's 2 notches there, and those notches should line up with the plastic lip that's here. So there's only really one way they can go on, right? And you push those in and they click into place. So this physically won't allow you to wire these backwards, okay? So even if you can't see the SW, okay? And with this Arduino, you've got a power cable as well, a USB cable. Okay, so you can open that up and you can connect this. You'll have done this already because you'll have set the motors to the midpoint, but we can plug that in, and then all we have to do then is connect our servos to these pins. Okay, so that's the eezybotarm, okay, along with the controls. So in another video, we'll cover connecting these up. So just as a recap, this is my claw motor. So this one would be connected to your claw port on your PCB, right, which is this one. You can see the wrote on them. Right? You can't see it there, but these 4 sets of pins here all have something wrote on them. Okay, so they have the name. So the outside one says claw, which is this one. The next one says shoulder, which is this one that turns at the bottom. Right? Lower arm, which is this one. It's the one driving connected into this green arm on mine, like the main lower arm. And then the last one is your upper arm, which is the one connected to this this arm here. Okay? Connected through the orange, in this case, to this one. So the one that's connected into this little small driver here, that's your upper arm. So all you would have to do is connect those into that, and it even tells you on those you have a ground pin, a VCC, and a signal. So the ground is your brown or black, and your signal is your white or yellow, and then the red will always be in the middle, that's your voltage. So you could just connect the claw into that. Our shoulder was next, which is the one at the bottom, coming out of the base. And again, you want to connect the brown cable to the ground. Okay, it's all labeled. This is my lower arm, so the yellow signal one goes in there, and then the yellow one. The yellow is the signal, right? So that connects in there. So that's my Arduino controlled eezybotarm. Okay? And when you upload the programs with Tommy, you'll be able to use the joysticks to control the movement of this. So hopefully that's relatively clear, and I'll be available live to answer any questions or to cover any bits. It is difficult to get a close-up, so I would advise that you have the PDF open as well. So I've created a PDF that has drawn step by step, showing you which screws and fasteners you need and what orientation the components should go in. And they are in color using CAD drawings, so they're quite clear. And they were the CAD drawings come from the original designer of this little robot arm. Okay, so the Thingiverse user, the Gizmo. Okay, thanks very much, guys.